Look, let's just be brutally honest right out of the gate here. Most of the career advice floating around out there right now, it's complete garbage. It's super generic, it's incredibly outdated, and frankly, it is actively holding you back. So today, in this explainer, we are completely tearing up that old playbook. We're going to dive into 8 real, hyper-practical strategies that will actually change your income and your entire professional trajectory as we head into 2026. We're cutting through all the noise today, and we're just going to focus on the stuff that genuinely moves the needle for your bank account and your life.
Okay, so let's jump right in by confronting a pretty uncomfortable truth. For years, people have been feeding us this line, right? Just follow your passion and the money will follow. Or just keep your head down, work hard, and you'll naturally rise to the top. Well, we have to accept that this is just terrible advice for today's world. The modern professional landscape literally does not reward passive hard work or blind passion anymore. It just doesn't. The 2026 reality requires 2 things: strategic positioning and totally quantifiable skills. If you want to genuinely advance, you have to take deliberate, strategic actions. So to get you there, we've broken this down into a really simple 5-part playbook. We're going to cover maximizing your market value, mastering the human element, positioning for high growth, the business of you, and wrap up with some final career truths. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. Maximizing your market value. Because right now, what you can actually do is way more important than where you went to school. Here's the deal. Employers today, they really only care about your ability to execute. Pure and simple. So you've absolutely got to focus your energy on high-demand skills. We're talking AI tools, data analysis, communication, and project management. Think of these as the literal engines of the 2026 economy. Let's say you're a marketer, right? If you take the time to learn basic data automation, you suddenly transform from an overhead cost into an absolutely indispensable asset. But, and this is a big but, just claiming you have these skills on a resume, not going to cut it anymore. You have to prove it. Having a really strong portfolio or a robust GitHub repository undeniably proves that you can execute to anyone who's looking.
And that brings us to one of the most powerful tools you can possibly build to prove that execution. It's called a brag file. Now, a brag file is just a simple, continuously updated document where you track your professional wins. But the secret sauce here? You have to use real, quantifiable numbers. So it's not, hey, I helped out with the marketing team. It's, I increased marketing ROI by 22% in Q3. See the difference? Maintaining this file makes asking for a raise, pushing for a promotion, or landing a totally new job dramatically easier. Why? Because you never have to try and convince anyone of your worth. The numbers are doing all the heavy lifting for you.
All right, moving on to Section 2, Mastering the Human Element. Because let's face it, being a technical genius is completely useless if nobody actually wants to work with you.
So, networking. I know the word itself kind of makes you cringe, right? It sounds like awkwardly handing out business cards at a conference and begging for a job. But real networking is a systematic approach. Step 1. You absolutely must give value first. Share a helpful resource, make an intro for somebody, and do it without expecting a single thing in return. Step 2. Stay in touch with your former colleagues. Don't let those connections go cold just because you change jobs. If you do this consistently, you're turning your network into this massive career asset way before you actually need to tap into it for a favor.
And that leads right into communication. I know, it sounds so basic. But the ability to explain things clearly, write well, and present confidently, it is shockingly rare. Having technical skills alone just isn't enough anymore. If you can articulate an idea clearly, if you can write an email that gets right to the point without any fluff, and if you can present your findings with absolute confidence, that is exactly what separates the top performers from everybody else in the room. It is a massive, massive competitive advantage.
Okay, Part 3, Positioning for High Growth. And this all comes down to finding the right environment and knowing how to negotiate.
Think of it like this. You could literally be the best seed in the world, but if you're planted in toxic soil, you are not going to grow, period. Imagine you're looking at 2 job offers. Offer A has a toxic manager, but the salary is higher. Offer B is slightly less money, but it has this amazing culture and great leadership. You have to actively choose the great managers. Taking a slightly lower salary in a fantastic environment is almost always going to be taking more money from a toxic manager who is just going to destroy your confidence and totally stunt your career. So when you're interviewing, make sure you are interviewing your future manager just as hard as they are interviewing you.
But once you do find that unicorn, that right environment, you've got to negotiate everything.
Seriously, never, ever accept the first offer. It's a fundamental rule of business. People who take the time to negotiate their base salary, their signing bonus, their equity, and even their paid time off, they end up making significantly more money. And we aren't just talking about a few extra bucks today. Because of the way compounding works, this creates a massive difference in your lifetime earnings. So yes, find a great place to work, but absolutely make sure you are getting paid what you are worth to be there.
Which brings us to Section 4, the business of you. This is all about income streams and your personal brand.
Think about it. A successful business would never ever rely on just one single client, right? So why on earth would you rely on just one single job? Your primary job is your core income, sure, but you really need to start building multiple streams. Adding in a side hustle and eventually building a passive income gives you incredible protection against economic shocks. If something crazy happens to your main job, you aren't left stranded. Plus, mathematically speaking, it's just going to help you build wealth a whole lot faster.
But to actually pull this off, you need to constantly be auditing yourself. First, you've got to continuously upskill, because a business that stops innovating, it dies. Second, you have to manage your public personal brand on platforms like LinkedIn, so you can actually control your own narrative. And third, this is huge. You need to know your open market value every single year. Even if you love your current job and aren't looking to leave, you should always know exactly what your specific skills are worth out there in the real world.
All right, finally, Section 5. Let's look at the final career truths and the really deep principles you need for 2026.
Let's just slow down for a second and absorb these because they power everything we've talked about today. Number 1, consistency always beats intensity. Small, daily improvements compound massively over time. Number 2, focus strictly on results, not busyness. Literally, no one cares how many hours you sat staring at your desk. They only care about what you actually produced. Number 3, fiercely protect your reputation and your network because those are your absolute top assets. And finally, number 4, remember that it is entirely okay to pivot. The most successful careers, they are never straight lines. They have multiple chapters. So if you feel like you need to change direction, do it.
Because real career growth, it doesn't come from just feeling fired up and motivated after watching an explainer like this. It comes from execution. So I'll leave you with this. Which of these 8 strategies are you going to take action on this week? Don't try to do the whole shebang at once, just pick one. Start that brag file today, reach out to one old colleague tomorrow, or spend an hour updating your GitHub. Think about it this way. If the business of you went public tomorrow, would you invest in the stock? Step up, take smart action, and go make 2026 your absolute best career year yet.